According to Deion Sanders, or as he prefers to call himself, Coach Prime. According to Daddy Deion, this is what a Division I college football team is supposed to look like. A collection of players who appear to be smaller than their future action figures. A collection of players who aren't strong enough to withstand the winds of a powerful fart. We are going into year 4 of this failed experiment at Colorado. At this point, Deion Sanders' performance at Colorado can only be described as huge embarrassing failure. Uncle Casey, that's not true. 2 years ago, Deion Sanders was 9-4. His baby boy was so legendary at Colorado that they retired his jersey number. Plus, Daddy Deion has elevated this once irrelevant program into the mainstream. This has been a huge success. For starters, Colorado retiring Shedeur Sanders' number, that is an absolute embarrassment. It really shows you how pathetic this program has historically been. Since when do we retire jersey numbers for quarterbacks with a record of 13-12? The highlight of Shedeur Sanders' collegiate career was getting his ass kicked in the Wiener Bowl by BYU. Ironically enough, Shedeur Sanders' retired number at Colorado is number 2, which not only represents his performance at the NFL level, which so far has been the drizzling shits, it also represents his ceiling, because more than likely, Deion's baby boy will never be more than a backup quarterback. But I'm glad you mentioned Deion Sanders elevating Colorado into the mainstream. At this point, it's probably the only thing saving his job. Most other coaches at Power 4 programs who go 16-21 in their first 3 years, most of those coaches would be unemployed. But to his credit, Deion Sanders has taken this once irrelevant program and he has elevated Colorado into being a national story. The problem, though, for Daddy Deion, fame is temporary. It's fleeting. The mainstream can be very quick to forget. And going into the season, the networks are committed to forgetting that Colorado even exists. Headline at Front Office Sports: Colorado's prime effect is wearing off for TV networks. 3 years ago, when Deion Sanders took over at Colorado, the networks were literally begging. They were fighting for Colorado games. First game of the season, Colorado pulled off an unexpected upset at TCU. Once that happened, Deion Sanders allowed their games to become a circus. Doofus celebrities were standing on the sidelines. Lil Wayne was performing as he led Shedeur Sanders onto the field. "I'll be stunting like my daddy, stunting like my daddy." Of course, Shedeur Sanders wasn't anywhere close to stunting like his daddy. Daddy Deion knew how to win championships, while his baby boy couldn't win a damn game. Colorado football games turned into a spectacle. If you were a celebrity or a wannabe celebrity, this was the place to be. But there was just one problem, one tiny problem. It was all an illusion. It wasn't real. For opposing teams, it might have been somewhat intimidating at the time to play Colorado. Their players were great talkers. They were really good at talking shit before the game. Irrelevant celebrities were giving their endorsement. But once the game actually started, it didn't take long to realize that this team sucked. During the 2023 season, Colorado averaged 6.1 million viewers on ESPN. Their game against Oregon, where Colorado's caboose was so severely bruised, Preparation H couldn't soothe it. Over 10 million people watched that unmitigated disaster. Now, for the networks, that rating, that number was great, at least temporarily, but it exposed Coach Prime as not being ready for prime time, but that's okay. It was Daddy Deion's first season coaching major college football. Growing pains were to be expected. I'm sure he will learn and improve in year 2, which is exactly what happened. 2024, Colorado is 9-4, but mainstream interest in the program was starting to decline. Ratings on ESPN declined 45% to 3.4 million viewers. With their success in 2024, ESPN decided to increase the number of nationally televised games to 7, which ended up being a monumental mistake. Colorado was a disaster last season, and the ratings, they reflected the flaming ass fire. 7 games on ESPN averaged 2 million viewers. Ratings have declined 67% from their peak in 2023. This year, the networks are not fighting for Colorado games. If anything, they're fighting not to have them. The Big 12 hasn't released their full schedule just yet of nationally televised games, but as of right now, Colorado only has 3 games on national television. If you want to include their game against Wiener State on September 12th, which will be broadcast on ESPN Plus, whatever the hell that is, I guess Colorado has 4 nationally televised games. Now, in defense of Daddy Deion, this number could increase throughout the season if he wins. But there's not a lot of confidence going into the season. Deion Sanders has assembled one of the smallest rosters in the country. Once again, he is trying to redefine how to build a program. His first year, he damn near built the entire roster through the transfer portal. Obviously, that ended in huge embarrassing failure. Now, he is trying to compete against the best teams in the country with a roster that would struggle to compete in Pee Wee football. To make matters worse, and we talked about this yesterday on the second channel, Deion Sanders has come up with, I'll be polite and say that he's come up with a very unique way to motivate his team. Over the weekend, Colorado released a clip of Morgan Coate, their strength and conditioning coach, delivering a motivating speech to the players. Uncle KC, what's the big deal? I'm sure Morgan is a great coach and a great speaker. He is legendary. Wrong pronouns, Sparky, because he is a lovely she. Watch for yourself.
You guys all have one of the most known logos in college football. Be proud of that, because I sure as hell am. I'll tell you what, when I go home, they know who you guys are. And when I talk about y'all, damn, I talk about y'all with great pride, because guess what? I don't do this for the love of the game. I do this for the love of y'all. And I do this because I want to see y'all be successful on that field.
Like I told you guys yesterday, I have never been inside of a college football locker room. I don't have experience playing college football at this level or any level, but I do have 41 years of experience with toxic masculinity, and I just cannot imagine a group of young men being inspired to kick ass after their female coach delivers a passionate message of love and unity. We're all in this together, you guys. Let's recite our favorite acronym. F is for friendship, U is for unity, C is for caring, K is for kindness. Oh, I love kindness. After a big tackle, be kind and help your opponent to his feet and give him a nice pat on his boodle. This so-called motivational speech, combined with practice videos featuring miniature players, it's not exactly inspiring confidence. It's not giving the networks a reason to broadcast Colorado games. And if that's the case, why is Deion Sanders there? How is he benefiting Colorado? Deion Sanders is making $10 million a year. He's not the highest paid coach in college football, but you can make the case that he's vastly overpaid compared to the results. Clemson is losing patience with Dabo Swinney, and he hasn't had a losing record in 15 years. Deion Sanders has 2 losing seasons in 3 years. The attention he generated putting Colorado in the national spotlight, that's where his value has been. Once that disappears, and it is disappearing fast, where is the value in Deion Sanders? Uncle KC has values in his coaching style. Deion Sanders is training players to be men. That's his top priority. Deion Sanders often talks about training young men, and that's great. It's definitely noble for the vast majority of these players who will never touch an NFL field unless they are serving water, teaching them how to be young men. That's more important than winning football games. Years ago, that's what college football was about. Maybe 1% of college players make the NFL. The other 99%, they were playing for pride. Football taught them discipline. They were playing for the memories. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. Now, more than ever, college football is a business. This season, Colorado players are being paid over $20 million. According to Athletic Business, the football program is operating at a $27 million loss. They doubled Deion Sanders' salary, and they're losing $27 million. I don't think I need to explain why that dog won't hunt. I know Deion Sanders takes pride at training boys to be men. He's strong in his Christian faith. He instills his values into his players. But that's not his job. I know it sounds harsh, but being elite at training young men, that ain't the job. That's what parents are for. That's what the military is for. Colorado isn't paying Daddy Deion $10 million a year to train the future father of the year. They are paying him to win football games. They are paying him to elevate the program into the mainstream. Because that's how they make money. That's how they receive a return on their massive investment. And right now, the only return they are receiving is financial losses that rival the losses in the WNBA dump. The regular season is what? About 3 weeks away? No one is talking about Colorado. No one is taking the program seriously. It's one thing to lose and be interesting, entertaining. When the Detroit Lions had Barry Sanders in the 90s, they were 78 and 82, 10 seasons, 5 playoff appearances. But they were interesting because at any moment, Barry Sanders could turn a 5-yard loss into an 80-yard touchdown. It's one thing to lose while being interesting. What you can't do is lose and be boring. Boring is no bueno. Boring doesn't draw money. And right now, Deion Sanders is losing while being boring. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.